Well, welcome back, guys. In today's video we're going to cover a little bit more gear we're going to use for our campsite down here. And if you haven't seen the last video, what I've done is this is the trailer that we use to tow the mule on when we're going on road trips. And I have pulled that down next to the pond, and now you can see we have the tent setting up on it. And it makes a perfect campsite for the tent and for me to be able to get up off the ground and actually be able to relax and sleep in peace when I do actually get time to get into the tent. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you haven't, I'm going to leave a link in the description for you. Now, I've gathered some more gear, and in the last video I'd mentioned, I've actually labeled this, camp gear for the mule. In the last video I'd mentioned that I am going to start getting gear together in order to keep it ready for the mule. That way, as I'm ready to move out onto a road trip, I can just set this stuff in here and I know exactly what I'm going to have. I have a pretty good idea of the inventory that's in the box. So let me show you what's in here, and then we're going to go gather some firewood for the campsite. It is a beautiful day out today, and I can't think of a better way than be outside, and more specifically, talking to you guys about stuff like this. I love the outdoors. Thanks for watching. Let's get started. Now, for those of you who don't have either the side-by-side or the trailer, this is just simply a campsite. I'm just trying to make it a little more convenient for myself. Everything that I have in this tote here is capable of going into the back of your car or pickup truck or whatever like that. So it doesn't have to be necessarily just for this occasion. Okay, I do have a really nice med kit in here. This thing has a trauma blanket. We have scissors, we have bandages, gauze, everything we need, tourniquet. So that's something, you know, specifically if you're going to have children with you, you're probably already aware of how many band-aids you need. We get out here and fishing and things like that, boo-boos tend to have them pretty quick. But another thing I do keep, and this is something I use all the time, is a nice waterproof box. I can put my phone, my billfold, and my keys in here. And no matter what's going on and around me, I always know that that equipment is dry. Something I don't want to have to replace should something go wrong as far as water is concerned, rain, etc. And you don't want to have to go back down to the DMV and tell them that you need a new driver's license or something, right? But some other gear I'd run across this morning as I was loading this up, and I don't have it complete yet. I still think there's going to be a few more things that I find. But if the weather's cold enough, I run across these. I did have these hot hands, and you break these open and you can actually warm your skin up if you start to become cold or hypothermic. Have one of them fall in the water, and I'm going to put that in this med kit. Now, I do try to keep a decent inventory anytime I am doing things like this, because if you don't use it for a couple of months, you may forget what you actually put in. So again, it's a really good trial basis before I chose to move this entire setup out to camp or on a long road trip. And this way I can know exactly what I have or what I need. And the more times you set something like this up, the more familiar you become. And it is easier to figure out, again, necessities versus just things that you may need. I always keep light fishing gear with me, just in case. I heard something, but I always keep light fishing gear, just in case. There's a small amount of string in here, as well as several jigs, different things like that. Now, obviously, we're down here by the pond, and I do intend on doing some fishing. Now, this stuff, if you're out in the woods this time of year, it's right now the first week of August, and going all the way to October. Ticks, chiggers, mosquitoes, and things like that, just an absolute nuisance. Now, this stuff you do not put on your skin, you put this on your clothing. And what makes this stuff really nice is the fact that if you're standing in the rain and your clothes get wet, this doesn't wash off. This is up to 6 washes through the washing machine. And this is honestly some of the best bug repellent that I've ever used. But you spray it on your clothing, let it dry, and it's not only a repellent, it's also a pesticide. So once those dudes get on you, they're not going to last very long. But if you're wearing shorts, short sleeves, and things like that, obviously, whatever bug repellent you would choose. And I definitely found my poncho this morning and got it put in the bag. Survival light. Now this thing's really cool for the tent, and we have used this thing a bunch. But it has AM/FM radio on it, a really nice little night light. Every time you flip it up, it'll come on, depending on where you got it set at. And again, a really nice dimmer light for inside of the tent. Now these tents like this, I try to refrain from any type of open flame in there, such as candles or things like that. But I'll leave that up to you guys. And if you're going to have kids around, you got to roast some hot dogs over the fire. That's always a plus. And I do try to keep me a set of binoculars in. Nice broom for sweeping the tent out as we climb in and out of this thing, get it dirty, have means of sweeping it up and keeping it clean. Magnifying glass for starting fires or digging pieces of splinter out of your finger or steel shavings if you're down here trying to sharpen a knife or something like that. And also a waterproof backpack. Now if I'm going to go on a road trip in the Mule from this point, everything I need will go in this waterproof bag out of everything I've selected here, and then I can keep it both dry and convenient. Okay, so that covers the gear in the box. And again, I'm going to add some to this, make a really nice bug out box if I needed it. I can just simply walk in the house, throw it in whatever vehicle we was going to roll in, and I know again what's in this particular box here. Necessity is something that as you go through this, you will continue to add to and take away from until you have it perfect for your needs. And no one person has everything they're going to need, but as long as you know what's currently in your inventory, that gives you a really nice place to start. I'm simply going to put this stuff back in here. I'm going to show you guys what I was looking at. Now this tote makes this really convenient, again, with the label on the top of it, so when I walk into the garage, I absolutely know I'm grabbing the right box and get it into, again, whatever vehicle, should there be an emergency of some type that I had to load up pretty quick. Now, nice place to set, and as we add on to this camp here, this is going to be my kitchen area back here on the back of the trailer. And again, we're going to get our firewood today, get it set out here and get it ready. And hopefully at the end of this, by the time I have this camp all set up, my grandkids will show up and they're going to have a pretty good time. But if not, I'm going to try to sleep in it for you. I make no promises. And see if we can't do this, at least cook us a dinner and enjoy the campsite, okay? Firewood, that's our next stop. Let's get started. Now the very first place we're going to start gathering firewood is right here at the campsite. And I'm going to keep that underneath this tree and back out of our way. Still be able to utilize all the shade up here should I want to move my lawn chair back or whatever. But I am going to try to keep this separated slightly so we have the small sticks for starting fires in one pile. And then we have the larger diameter stuff that we can set over behind here for actually keeping the fire rolling. This will get everything picked up around the camp. That way if I have to get up in the nighttime and don't have a light handy, I'm not going to trip over something. These small sticks like this make excellent fire starter. Okay. One. Now. And it's another great thing to be able to keep yourself occupied when you're camping out like this. So if you give yourself chores to do, you're going to enjoy the experience a little more. Let's go and see if we can find us some bigger material to work with. Now I'm just going to rummage through here and pick up stuff that's already on the ground. Get this out of my way so I don't walk on it. That makes great kindling. Now, no one's ever said that camping has to be hard on you. So if you have a chainsaw, use a chainsaw. But if you don't, there's a couple of tools that you can use. Simply breaking this stuff up, and I'm going to throw it in the back of the mule, make it easier to carry back to the site. If you want a really nice camp axe, this East Wing, I'll tell you what, this thing is absolutely razor sharp, steel constructed handle, and you're not going to have to worry about busting the handle out of it. So this thing is going to do you probably a lifetime. Or you can get, this is a Gerber, and this is a 12-inch machete, I believe it is, but it does have a crosscut saw on the back of it. So this gives you the ability to chop or saw. And again, now make firewood gathering something as simple as you can, because you can burn a lot of energy here and really not get as much done as you should. It's all about enjoying the trip, not having to work yourself to death on it. Okay? You can step on this stuff, most of it. I know a lot of you guys know that, but that one's still pretty solid. Let's see. I'm trying to break this stuff up to about 18 inches in length and get it down there and get it into a nice pile. Sometimes you can elevate it and get it to break. That's pretty stubborn. So we're going to cut that in two. I'm going to demonstrate how this crosscut saw works. And then we can also do and you can see this is going to take a lot of energy, but if you have time and needed something to do, and this saw is cutting that rather quickly. But for a good fire at night, you're probably going to need about 60 or 70 of these. Okay? You can chop it in two if you want. Be real careful here. I'm going to go ahead and put this lanyard on. Now what this lanyard does is it keeps this from being able to get out of your hands and get into your leg. So that's convenient. And again, you don't want to have to use that trauma kit this quickly. You're just getting started. And I'm trying not to burn any more energy than I have to. Nice big chunks out of there. Try to get it on both sides. But again, this thing's almost razor sharp. So do not get it to your body in any way. There we go. So that's that method. Let's put this guy back up. Now the hatchet, you have a little more swinging force with it. And I like at this point to lay this across something. I don't want to be driving this into the ground. Keep you guys back where we can see a little bit. So now we're able to exert a little more force. You can even just break it in two in a lot of cases. This guy back up over this log now. There we go. Really nice tool. You can set down at the fire, make yourself kindling. You can make various sticks that you need forks in, take this tree down. So, I mean, it is something that you can use in your gearbox and something that you'll always return to. Now, my favorite, chainsaw. Let's make this job easy. All right, now the chainsaw got through that real good, and we've cleaned up the forest. So we're doing double duty here. Great. Well, it didn't take it long to get hot out here. And the glove. That definitely gives us enough wood to last for several days. That's a nice big old dead chunk I'm going to use for a windbreak. This guy down here. Now, if you're unfamiliar with your campsite, it may be a good idea to go ahead and haul some firewood with you until you get set up and know what you're dealing with. And the larger diameter wood that I have lying out here, because again, it's still warm, the shorter I cut this stuff. I don't need it to, I don't want to burn a whole bunch of it through the fire. So the bigger the sticks of wood, the faster you're burning through it. So if outdoors is something that interests you, and moreover, something getting setting again, deer season, fall deer season's right around the corner for a lot of us in the country. So it's time to actually start preparing for that. And I don't mind to throw the blind back on here this afternoon and go and see if I can spot some deer. See how they're moving and find out what the pattern is. But if you guys are liking these videos, leave it in the comments and hit that like button for us. That way we know we're on the right track of making stuff that you actually want to see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you are camping, be careful. Have fun.